How's it going? I hope everyone is doing well whenever you tune in and see this day or night. So, this is going to be a general reading for water sign Cancer for August 19th through the 31st. It is a general reading, so it can cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, etc. And it is a timeless reading since time is fluid and relative. So, for some of you guys, for instance, it could resonate 6 months in the past or 6 months in the future, a year in the past, a year in the future. So always take it how it resonates for you if it does. And if it doesn't resonate, I always recommend everyone, if you haven't already, to just get a free birth chart online by Googling it and finding out your other placements. For instance, what's your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs? And depending on what's going on in your life, sometimes your sun or your rising or your moon or even your Venus sign will resonate more than the other. Okay, so always feel free to check out the other videos here on my channel and also read your other horoscopes within your birth chart as well. All right, so we're going to get into your reading in just a moment here, Cancer. I've shuffled all of your cards and pulled everything ahead of time. So real quickly, I'm going to go over a couple astrology notes for this time period that is general for everybody, okay? And I will be placing a timestamp later after the live of when the tarot reading starts. Okay, so for instance, if you've watched a couple of the other videos from this series, you might want to skip the astrology notes. Okay, so I will be putting that in the description box below a little bit later after the live. All right, so let's get into your astrology notes. All right. And again, this is just some general astrology for everybody during this time period, okay? So on August 19th, Uranus is going to be in retrograde, okay, in the sign of Taurus, okay? I think it's like 14 degrees. And so Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, right? We had a Uranus retrograde back earlier this year in January, okay, but this time when it starts on August 19th, it's going to be going until January 2022 of next year. All right. And so when we talk about Uranus, normally if it wasn't in retrograde, the things that it would represent, and it still represents, it's just more subdued now or not as strong in certain aspects. Okay. So the aspects of Uranus, okay, and also Aquarius, right, are technology, rebellion, innovation, dynamic change, rebellion, individuality, originality, surprises, and shock value. So again, some of those themes could be a little more subdued now. All right. And then I want to talk about it because, a couple days after that, on August 22nd, we do have another full moon in Aquarius. We had a full moon last month in Aquarius, and since the ruler of Aquarius, right, Uranus is in retrograde, could be some interesting things that come up here around this time. All right. So since Uranus in retrograde is falling in the sign of Taurus, right, it doesn't just affect people who have a lot of Taurus in their chart, but that's just where it falls in the astrology. Okay. It could be that those things that I talked about before that are more subdued now could have some crossover themes with money, security, stability, our bodies, where and what and who we value. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then also on August 22nd, the same day, it's officially Virgo season as the sun enters into Virgo. And then the last astrology note here, the last day that we're going to talk about is on August 30th. Mercury enters into Libra. Okay, so Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and a little bit also of Virgo. Okay, so Mercury covers communications, electronics, to name a few. Will be entering into Libra, which could cover themes of balance, equal give and take, justice, and also beauty. Okay, and then on that same day, on August 30th, we also have a last quarter moon. So always call out the cycles of the moon as well with the astrology. Okay, so that is it for your astrology notes here. And so we're going to do a quick little sound bell here for some grounding and general healing for the reading for both you and me. Okay, and then we'll go over all of your cards here. Okay, and also if you are new, welcome, and if you're coming back, welcome back, of course. I do take one photo too at the end of all the cards in case you want to pull it up while you watch or listen, or just look at it at a later time, more close up in detail. So you can always click in the description box below and follow the instructions there and how to get to my Facebook and where it would be and all of that. Okay, so let's do your little sound bell here. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen. All right. Okay. All right. I forgot to mention too, I should warn people, before I do the sound bell, because sometimes if you have headphones in, it might be really loud. So I'll try to start remembering to give people a warning for that. All right, so let's go over a couple things before we get into your reading as far as, where the placements of the cards mean and all of that. Okay. So I usually start with the first six in the center here, okay? So this first row is energy starting around August 19th. It can be a little bit before, a little bit after, it's not exact, okay? Going through that week and that weekend, and then the second row here is about the same deal, okay? So it would be energy of that last week of August and weekend of August, okay, till about the 31st or so, okay? And then after we go through that, we go about the confirmation tarot cards that are confirming the cards in the center. And then I also talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each deck, okay? And then at the very end, I do a couple oracle cards as well, okay? Also wanted to say that if this is not your energy, Cancer, or your story or reading or timeline, it could be vice versa. It could be the other person or the people or situation you're dealing with or general environment. Okay, so always keep that in mind as well. But your first card here, oh yes, let me call them out too. That will be helpful. You have Five of Sacred Circles, or also known as Five of Pentacles upright, Princess of Sacred Circles upright, Princess of Staves in reverse, or Princess of Wands in reverse, the Magician in reverse, Prince of Sacred Circles upright, and Four of Swords upright. Okay, so to start your reading off here with Cancer, you have the Five of Sacred Circles, also known as the Five of Pentacles upright. So this is an energy of, coming out of the cold in the recent past. And what is recent? You have to ask yourself that. You could have been feeling, that there wasn't enough support around you in some way, okay, like physical support or also mental, spiritual, etc. All right. But then after that, when you had that feeling of being left out in the cold, trying to look for your last refuge or hope or something to warm you up, right? Whether it's physically being left out in the cold, but it's more of like a metaphorical kind of spiritual metaphor here. So the way that it's depicted in this deck, you see this tiny Native American, there's two women that are coming out of this hut here, and one is opening the door for the other, and one has this like ceremonial headdress on. Okay, so this talks about spiritual ritual or retreat. So it's like you get to a certain point, Cancer, where you're like, wait a second, why am I looking for all of this outside help, this last refuge, somebody to warm my cup, when actually I am my own first and last refuge. Okay, so that's the kind of the energy of this card and the way that this deck depicts it. Other decks might show it a little differently. Okay, but not a bad energy to start your reading off here with. Okay, so remembering again how strong you are, and at the end of the day, it is about always your relationship with yourself comes first, and then how you relate to yourself is also how you relate to others. That kind of thing, right? Okay. Now, moving forward, your second card here is the Princess of Sacred Circles, or also known as the Princess of Pentacles. This is about planting seeds for the future. It's a very nice, abundant energy here. You see this pregnant Native American woman, and she's holding a child as well. Okay, and so this is all about preparing for the future, right? She's a princess, she's not a queen yet, but she's leveling up slowly in some way. She's taking on more responsibility, obviously, with the child that she's holding and the future child that's coming. Okay, but again, this is a very nice, abundant, open energy. I'm open to learning something new, and I'm slowly leveling up. Okay. Now, this is actually where, before we get to your third card here, where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your deck here, the same one in the main center, okay? So when we talk about what's on the top and the bottom, this is, again, energy, if you've watched me before, from the recent past, why certain cards have come out, okay? And what is recent? It could be a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, or even a couple months or years, right? But anyway, you have the Three of Swords in the upright position here. Excuse me. And then you have the Six of Swords in the reverse position, okay? So this is saying that in the recent past, Cancer, there could have been some kind of heartache or hurt or betrayal or lower vibrational energies, exhaustion in the recent past, right? With this could be you or the other person, like I said before, your general environment situation here, okay? But then, despite that, here you have this beautiful Six of Swords in the reverse, where you're letting go of any anxiety, worry, overthinking, depression, staying too much up in your head, okay, and getting better control of your emotions and balancing it with your intellect. And so these two cards kind of led to your first two cards in the main six, why you have this going inward, doing your spiritual ritual or retreat, finding how strong you are inside, and then planting the seeds for the future. These two cards couldn't have happened, right, without these two cards, okay? All right. Now, going forward here, your third card, another princess, okay, but this time it's in the reverse position. This is the Princess of Staves, also known as the Princess of Wands in other decks, right? And so there could be in this first week of the 19th, more towards the end of the week or the weekend, again, it's not exact, right? Where there's a little bit of like a disloyalty feeling for some of you guys, or a lack of courage or power, or feeling in your power in some way, because when it's right side up, she has this dog next to her. The dog represents loyalty, right? Being loyal to its master. And so it could be that someone was disloyal to you, or you were disloyal to others or to yourself in some way. Also, there is that lion in the reverse, so that's that courage, or standing in your own power in some way could be a little bit off, okay, for some of you guys. But it also could be, since it's following your first princess, right, that on one hand, towards the end of the week or weekend, you could be not wanting to continue learning something new or being open to planting the seeds for the future. But I feel like it's more of a confidence thing or a loyalty thing here. Okay, so it's just a little bit of a warning, right? It's not completely negative or positive. Each card has both negative and positive, okay? But we'll learn more as we go through your reading and also into your tarot confirmation cards. But you still have some good cards coming up, so don't despair too much here, okay? So moving forward, your fourth card here is the Magician in the reverse position, okay? And I'm going to put it alongside your third card. And this is why I said, for the majority of you, I do feel like it's a lack of confidence in some way, okay, when these both follow each other. Because when the Magician is in the reverse, it's like, again, I'm having a hard time manifesting because it's reversed. I don't feel like I have all the tools I need to succeed in some way. I don't feel super confident in my power that I can create magic or manifest whatever I want to bring into my life or get rid of. Okay, so there could just be with this potential leveling up in some way, again with the Princess of Sacred Circles as your second card, that maybe taking on these new responsibilities or planting the seeds for the future has you doubting yourself a little bit here, Cancer, in some way. Or it could also be the other person, or the just like this disloyalty, or you possibly felt that you would have more resources or support or tools around you for this leveling up, and maybe you don't. Okay, and maybe that goes back to your first card too, the Five of Sacred Circles, of having to rely on yourself and be strong yourself here. Okay, and maybe you're just a little tired of that. Okay, that's also an energy that I'm getting as well. All right, but it doesn't last forever. Okay, because then your fifth card here in the right side up position is the Prince of Sacred Circles. You have a lot of sacred circles this time in your reading. Okay, also Pentacles, right? That's the same thing, just a different name in this deck. Okay. So here comes this Native American man, and he's holding the peace pipe. This is all about communication, being vulnerable, abundance. Again, since he's a prince, he's not a king yet. Slowly leveling up, and also, what is the way I wanted to say that? Like, I feel that not only is this energy abundant, but it's like, okay, if I'm communicating with myself and with others, and I'm being more vulnerable, then in that way I also have to, even if he was already a king, because you should never stop learning, right? He's like, I have to keep learning and growing, because that's what makes you successful in life, and being open to those things. Okay, so here you get it back, Cancer, more towards that second week, the middle of the second week, or even that last weekend of August, or even first week of September here. Okay, but really nice energy. Just turn that down a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. And then your sixth card here is the Four of Swords in the upright position. So this talks about a little bit of that fear coming back for you in some way, a little bit. And when I say fear, I mean anxiety, worry, overthinking. But here in this card, the way it's shown, you see this Japanese woman, and she's trying to bury the swords, and the swords represent your intellect. Okay, so normally when the Four of Swords shows up, they're going downwards. That's the more negative aspect of it. Okay, so she's trying to, instead of deal with it necessarily, maybe just be like, I'm gonna deal with that later. I'm just gonna cover that up right there. Okay, so again, this is not the end of the world. It could be taken more as a warning card here to not do that. Right, there's always a time and a place for dealing with things. Okay, if you can, but it's never good to just bury things, right? Because then it'll eventually come up later, and it'll actually just delay the healing in your own abundance. All right. Now, let's. Oh yes. Before we get to your confirmation card, you actually had an extra card. So I normally only do 6 in the middle, but you had 7 this time. Okay. And the spirit said they wanted it here. So your 7th card, and I forgot to say it when I was calling out your cards, is the Queen of Swords in the reverse position. Now, when this is following the Four of Swords that we just talked about, it's like you're almost, and I know this can happen sometimes more easily for water signs, but not saying that this is like a bad thing, or that water signs are bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I have a lot of water in my own chart, but it's saying that your emotions, right, could be clouding your judgment. Okay, so again, when this Queen of Swords in the reverse position here, this is kind of saying that you're not standing in your power. You're letting these emotions take you over. Okay, this again, this leveling up. Remember when I said you had literally, you have 2 princesses, and then you have a prince. And then here, your last card, your 7th card, is the queen, but it's in reverse. So it's like there could be a little bit of fear of leveling up, of whatever this could mean for you, leveling up in a job or project or relationship, or a deeper level of commitment, well, a commitment with friends or family, or even different parts of yourself coming together and growing in some way. It could be a little bit of fearfulness of that, right? Because change is hard for everyone, and so maybe this new responsibility or leveling up is just getting you all up in your feelings in some way. And so this is just, again, another warning card to not bury it and to try to find more balance with your emotions and your intellect. All right. So get into your confirmation cards here. Okay, so I'll call them out and then we'll go in order. So you have Page of Pentacles in the reverse, Page of Swords upright, and the Lovers in reverse. Okay, so the first two confirmation cards are usually past energy, and then sometimes the third can be a little bit of both past and future. Okay, so with this Page of Pentacles in the recent past, all right, it could have been that some type of communication, because pages are about communication, was not well received by you or another, or it was put on hold, or it didn't happen. Okay, it also could be that some type of creativity or passion is not where it normally was in the recent past as well, or just this fresh start, right? Pages usually go page, knight, king, right? In this deck, okay, but when it's in reverse, it's like a little bit of I'm trying to think of the word, like a, even self-sabotaging energy, perhaps if it falls within yourself, right? Sorry, my allergies. But this is basically the card that's coming in here and confirming the Five of Sacred Circles upright and your Magician in reverse. Okay, so this is this Page of Pentacles in reverse from the past energy here. Cancer could be saying that whatever that communication that didn't happen. And also, if I forgot to say too, if it wasn't a communication that you gave or someone gave to you here at Cancer, it could have been a small opportunity from the universe that either wasn't well received by somebody or didn't happen or was put on hold. I forgot to say that as well. Okay, but whatever that like slight disappointment for you was in the recent past, you use that as a catalyst here in your first card, the Five of Sacred Circles upright, because then you said, okay, I can't rely necessarily always so heavily on other people. I'm going to find my own strength. I'm going to go inward. I'm going to have this spiritual ritual or retreat type energy, okay, with this card here. Now, when the Magician in reverse comes up and it's confirmed by this Page of Pentacles in reverse, this is also like going backwards. It's like I'm going forwards here in the beginning with your first card, and then with your fourth card going backwards a little bit again, or being re-triggered by something here, Cancer, where you're like, I can't manifest, I can't have my confidence or my passion or my creativity where it normally would be, or I don't have enough support or resources or tools around me. Okay, all right. Now let's go forward. All right, so your second confirmation, this time you have a page upright, so that is good. All right, the Page of Swords upright, and this is past energy. Okay, what's the recent past, months, days, years? You find out for yourself. It is a general reading. Okay, but yeah, so this is basically saying that in the recent past, there again could have now been a more positive communication between you and somebody, or the universe in some way, and saying, okay, now I am more open to learning something new, to slowly leveling up, starting at the bottom but leveling up, right? This is a card full of momentum, okay, and also of clear intellect and clarity, okay? Now, when it's coming in here and it's confirming both of your Prince and Princess of Sacred Circles, all three of these cards, right, are in the right side up position, okay? So whatever this communication was, or getting back on the horse energy, or slowly leveling up, or saying, I'm ready to learn now something new and put in this fresh start or whatever this is, then you're able to plant those seeds for the future and be more abundant and have more of that natural nurturing energy that Cancers can have, okay? And then also too, the more that you get into planting the seeds for the future, the nurturing abundant energy, then you can be more communicative, right? Is that right? That's how you say it. Communicative, better communicator. Okay. And you can be more vulnerable and abundant as well, and slowly move forward to the future. Okay. So very nice. And then your third confirmation card, okay, and this is a little bit of past and future energy here, Cancer, is the Lovers in the reverse position, okay? So this talks about there could be some type of union that either hasn't happened yet or has already happened, okay, that doesn't have an equal give and take or balance, could be more focused on low vibrational frequencies, okay, not a higher vibrational love, but lower, so like lustful or just, not in the highest good for each other in both parties, whatever it may be. If it's not romantic, right, because unions just aren't romantic, it could be that there is some type of work partnership or within a project, okay, that it doesn't have an equal give and take either and is not looking out for the best for both parties. Also, if it's with friends or family, or even a union of like different parts of yourself coming together here, it could be that if this union hasn't happened yet, and this is more of, again, this like nervous, fearful energy, it could be that. Yeah, it's just because I'm looking because, okay, since we had an extra card for you this time, Cancer, it's not only confirming 2 cards, it's confirming 3 cards. But before we get into what it confirms, actually, this is where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your other deck here, the ones we use to confirm. This is the Llewellyn deck, okay, the one with the yellow border here. All right, but again, this is some past energy and possibly why this Lover's card came out in reverse position, okay? So anyway, you have on the top the Eight of Swords upright, and then on the bottom you have the Hanged Man, excuse me, in the reverse position, okay? So this is saying that in the recent past, you could have felt bound or trapped or had just a lot of anxiety or worry about something, or way too much up in your head. And it could be because you weren't looking at something from a new perspective, a different angle, a different philosophy, viewpoint on life, however you want to take it, okay, with the Hanged Man in the reverse position. So when you put that together with the Lovers in reverse, it could be that somebody in this union, whatever kind of union it is, right, again, romantic, work partnership, friends or family, or even with yourself, it could be that someone or some parts of someone, right, is not seeing clearly, is not seeing the partnership in the correct way, is not being open to looking at something from a different perspective because they feel so bound and trapped and overthinking in some way. And maybe that's because that's how they operated in past relationships or past work partnerships or family, whatever, again. But this is kind of the energy that is why the Lovers here is in reverse. Okay, so now going forward, let's see, this Lovers first is confirming the Princess of Staves in reverse, or Princess of Wands, right? And then the Four of Swords upright. Okay, so this is saying here, Cancer, that this union, whatever it is, that isn't equal give and take or isn't higher vibrational love, right? If it's past or future, or if it's a little bit of both, right? Is why it's affecting your confidence in some way, or you're feeling some type of disloyalty energy, or not standing up enough into your own power, okay? And then when it's over here and it's confirming the Four of Swords too, it's like that energy of needing a rest too, because the Four of Swords is also, I should have said this earlier too, it's also about putting something to rest, like not only taking a rest for your mind, body, spirit connection, but saying, I'm going to end this way of doing something, or I'm going to end talking to this person, or I'm going to end whatever this destructive kind of negative energy is, right? And maybe the negative energy is just that bearing of the sword and not dealing with the anxiety, overthinking, worry, right, in a more balanced way. So maybe towards the end of the month or even the beginning of next month, Cancer, you're going to say to yourself, I'm done doing this, okay? Because it's not bringing me into my higher self, my higher vibrational love, and I can't share that higher vibrational love to the fullest with myself or even with others until I deal with this in a more balanced point of view, okay? And really quickly, before we get into your oracle cards here, since you have that extra card, when we talk about, oops, yeah, it was like this, the lovers in reverse with your seventh card, right? The Queen of Swords in reverse. Um, and so this is basically saying the same thing. It's like, until I get my emotions in check and not be afraid of leveling up in some way, whether it's a work partnership or romantic or a deeper level of commitment with friends or family or within myself, if I approach it from a place where I'm confident and not fearful, and I'm coming from a more balanced, grounded point of view too. Because that's the other thing I forgot to say earlier with this past energy that you had of the Hanged Man in the reverse position. Normally, when it's right side up, you see all these beautiful trees and their roots, right? That grounded energy, and it was in reverse for you in the past, and so it could be that you're now coming to this new type of energy or way of doing something where you're saying, well, now I really need to get more grounded here, not only for myself, but for others that are in my life. Okay, something like that. All right. So again, always take it how it resonates for you, since it is a general reading. But all that being said, let's get to your oracle cards that are usually a little more lighter and just fun. Okay, before you go here. So your first oracle card from the Rebecca Campbell deck here. Sorry, I have to itch my nose. Um, it's really beautiful. There's a woman here floating in the space in the Milky Way or something. And it says, wait, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. Okay. So that could be a particular message for some of you guys at this time to just slow down and wait. Okay. And if you want to look up more about this card, you can also just look up the Rebecca Campbell Starseed Oracle deck and type in the wait card, and it'll give you a couple of paragraphs and even like a meditation, okay, if you want to get more into it, but it's pretty self-explanatory, okay? So it could be saying for you to really wait until you get into, if this is a new union, right, with the lovers in reverse, it's like, don't get into something new here, Cancer, until you can make it more high vibration, until you can ground yourself more, and all those other things we just talked about, all right? Okay, now moving forward. Your second oracle card here is your love oracle card, whether you're watching for romantic love or platonic love or even self-love, okay? But it's really interesting because I shuffle everything multiple times and cut the deck and all this stuff, right? But it's another card that talks about waiting, okay? It was so interesting when it came out. I was like, really? Okay. Because I got some Cancer in my chart too. I mean, we all have all 12 zodiac signs throughout our chart. But anyway, it's not about me. But it says worth waiting for, okay? Right? Waiting and wait, okay? And it says divine timing is at work in your love life, okay? So that could be a particular message for some of you guys. And again, if it isn't love life, it could also say, divine timing is at work in your work relationships, or divine timing is at work in your friends or family relationships, or divine timing is at work with your self-love and your confidence, however it resonates for you. But it's just a little bit of that slowing down, of waiting. It's not yet time. Things are being woven, and things are worth waiting for. All right, so that was pretty cool that those both came out here like that. Okay, and your last oracle card here, I'm just going to turn off my timer so it doesn't make all this noise while I'm talking. Excuse me. 1 second. All right. It's really beautiful. It looks like the Dalai Lama or something here. And it says, I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. It says, it's the air pollution in LA sometimes gets to me. And allergies. The High Lord of Gratitude in Service. Okay. So it talks about selflessness, humility, and conscious action. How cute that is. All right. So this could be a particular note for some of you guys to focus on these qualities during this time period or even beyond, right? And I forgot to, sometimes I look up real quickly it'll come with like a little sentence or quote or something. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? It says selflessness, humility, conscious action. But I just want to see real quickly if it says anything else. Okay, I found it. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Hopefully you can still see the card. All right. It says this card has arrived to help you find your true purpose today. Feeling grateful for each moment you experience and loving what is and what has been will remind you that every breath you take holds a deep and profound awareness. Through small actions and selfless service to another, you're automatically you're automatically placed upon your highest path, whether you're immediately aware of it or not. The presence of this ally lets you know that you're on the correct path to fulfilling your desires. Okay. And it just says, be thankful for all you learn. Truly, there are no friends or enemies, just teachers along life's journey. Be grateful for the laughter and even the tears. The attitude of gratitude is a magnet for true love in all of its forms. Okay. Yes, the true love we're talking about again with the lovers in reverse, right? So, again, it could be true love with a romantic partner, with friends or family, okay, or deeper level of self love, however you take it. All right. So those are your messages for this time, Cancer. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in. And what else was I going to say here? Yes, so if you want to see a photo too, I mentioned it earlier, but maybe some of you guys didn't catch it. If you want to see a photo of all the cards, sorry, that I've taken here for you today, you can just click in the description box below and I'll be posting it shortly after this live. So you can follow the instructions in the description box below if you want to get the photo. But yeah, if not, that's okay too. I just like to have it for people. But other than that, thank you guys so much for your likes, for your shares. It does really help my channel. The more likes that I get, it is not an ego thing. It actually helps circulate the video to others. So if you don't want to share, actually, likes help it to be shared as well. And if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, it is free. All you have to do is click on the bell icon in the bottom right and make sure it's blue and it's active. And it just makes you a follower like on Instagram or Facebook or something. So you see more of my content. So anyway, you guys take care and enjoy this time period. And I'll see you later. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and then hopefully come back with Libra shortly. So if you want to join me there, you're welcome to. But if not, that's okay too. So I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye.